Sims, his second loss to Sims in a month. The other at the semifinals of the U.S. Nationals, both on points by wide margins. This is his first 10-rounder, and Steve, he's stepping up in class. Probably his toughest fight as a pro.
Oh, no doubt, Steve. And what makes it so tough, not only does he have to deal with the physical Michael Sims, who's bigger, but he has to deal with the psychological aspect. He lost twice to this guy, and we know that can definitely carry over into the pro ranks.
Yeah, so Cora seeking some retribution, only this time he'll get paid for it. Michael Sims, a switch hitter who won the World Amateur, U.S. National, and National Golden Gloves championships. 132 amateur wins, considered a lock to make the 2000 U.S. Olympic team. Lost at the trials, won at the box office, but got booted from the squad for disciplinary reasons. Also had personality clashes with the coach. Got a late start as football, not boxing, was his first love. He turned pro at 26 2 years ago. And it's Steve, it seems like he's turned a negative into a positive. He's got a very good attitude, despite losing a dream trip to the Sydney Games.
Well, what makes this interesting is that I think his career would be going on a different path had he stayed on the Olympic team. I don't think he'd be fighting a fellow undefeated fighter this early in his career. If he had made the Olympics, he would be brought along at a different and easier pace.
Big, rangy cruiserweight, lots of potential, hopes to be a heavyweight in the near future. Let's check the numbers as we go to the tail of the tape. Sims at the advanced age of 28, 5 years older than Cora, 2.5-inch height advantage for the 6'2 Sims, who enjoys a heavyweight reach of 79 inches, 5 more than Cora. Yesterday's weigh-in, Cora 190, Sims 191, and the key unified rules: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. The fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt occurs before the end of the 4th round, it's a no decision. If it happens after the end of 4, they go to the scorecards. So here at the UIC Pavilion in Chicago, getting ready for Michael Sims versus Felix Cora Jr. It's scheduled for 10, non-title. Let's get the formal introductions from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the Pavilion here on the campus of the University of Illinois at Chicago, as we have a big night of action coming your way, and it's all brought to you by Arthur Palulo's Banner Promotions in association with Bobby Hits Boxing, BetSBG.com, the undisputed king of beers, Budweiser, and Showtime. At this time, we introduce to you our judges, all 3 from the state of Illinois. We have from Glencoe, Ted Gimsa. From Chicago, Mike Gliena. From Evanston, Jerome Jakubko. And our referee in charge, formerly from the west side of Chicago, now Mount Prospect, Tim Adams. All right, fans, here we go. 10 rounds of boxing in a battle of the undefeated cruiserweights. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red, white, and blue trunks, and hailing from Galveston, Texas. He weighed in at an even 190 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with 10 wins, no losses, 5 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the pride of Galveston, introducing Felix Bad News Cora Jr. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the red corner, this 10-round attraction, wearing red trunks with black trim, joining us from Sacramento, California. He weighed in at 191 pounds. He also is undefeated with 12 wins, no losses, 10 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 1999 World Amateur, U.S. National, and Golden Gloves champion, introducing the undefeated Mike Famous Sims Jr. Once again, a referee in charge, Tim Adams, now to give instructions, 10 rounds of action scheduled.
Okay, bring it to the center. Okay, listen up, both of you men are professionals, so I expect you to conduct yourself in a professional manner. Here are the rules. I want you to keep your punches up at all times. I want you to obey the commands that's going to be given to you at all times. In the case of a knockdown, the man who is standing, I'm going to put him in a neutral corner where I want him to be, and I expect for him to stay there until I tell him to come out. Good luck to both of you. Protect yourselves at all times. Let's go to work. The trunks are fine here.
It's a small ring, 16 feet, so these guys really look big. Two guys with just 22 pro fights between them, but lots of experience, since both have extensive amateur backgrounds, both making it to the 2000 Olympic trials. Michael Sims, 2 of his 10 knockouts in the first. Talented, rangy, switch-hitting fighter. Felix Cora, 4 of his 5 knockouts in round 1. Southpaw with good skills and punching power. Both presently campaigning in the off-the-line cruiserweight division, sort of a stopover for light heavies and heavyweights. Not glamorous, but certainly wide open.
And Steve, so much for fighter interviews. Sims promised us he'd open in an orthodox stance, so of course he's boxing as a southpaw.
He is trained by the highly regarded Freddie Roach. Ray Woods is in his corner tonight with Roach on assignment with Manny Pacquiao. Sims in the red with the black trim, fighting out of the southpaw stance right now. Has won his last 4 by knockout off a second round stoppage of a southpaw named Wesley Martin, November 1st. It's the only time he's fought a true southpaw as a pro. Kevin Gilchrist switched up, another opponent, fought many lefties in the amateurs. Well, congratulations to Michael Sims and Felix Cora. You've just surpassed our last fight on Showtime Championship Boxing, over 49 seconds. Tyson versus Etienne. Had to work that in, Steve.
Beautifully done.
Thank you.
Sims right now boxing nicely. Cora told us he probably would have to be the aggressor in this fight. He's the shorter guy, but it's Sims landing the power shot with the left cross, and Cora has not landed that shot yet.
Sims hammering to the body, then goes upstairs. Sims looking for some revenge after losing twice. Cora after losing twice to Sims in the amateurs. Sims 12-0, 10 knockouts. Naturally left-handed as a fighter, but rights with his right hand. His straight left is the harder punch. And Cora's main assets, according to his trainer father, Felix Sr., is his jab. He likes to pressure, set a fast pace, and he's pressing the attack here. Southpaw, Cora. Cora out of Galveston, Texas. Sims out of Sacramento, born in Oakland, big Oakland Raiders fan. Football is first love, as we mentioned, and the same goes for Cora. Wanted to play on the gridiron.
Cora seems happy to fight at that distance. He hasn't been crowding Sims at all. He is the shorter fighter. It's going to be difficult for him to out-jab Sims unless he times his jab perfectly. But he is going to the body.
Sims 6'2", Cora 5'11 and a half. Cora told us he feels he's not the same guy who fought Sims in the amateurs. That was 4 years ago. Feels he's a lot more experienced now. He knows how to adjust. He can box or brawl, whatever happens against Sims. He doesn't feel that his long 7-month layoff will be a problem as well. He's been working hard in the gym. One round of the books. Steve Farhood and his keys to victory.
For Michael Sims, most important thing, keep the distance. Sims is the taller fighter. He needs to keep Cora an arm's length away. Stay off the ropes. If he's on the ropes, he's square, and that eliminates his reach advantage. And switch hit at the right time. We saw Sims open as a southpaw. He should stay there if he's boxing well and not switch hit. Felix Cora keys, make a jab, make his jab a factory. If he can out-jab Sims, he's 80% on the way to winning. Set a fast pace, he can throw a lot of punches, and force Sims to lead the way he needs to do that. Get in Sims' face, make Sims lead, and then he can counter-punch.
Seconds out. 2.
Michael Sims getting set for round number 2, scheduled for 10. There was a feeling in the amateurs that Sims was holding back. It looked like he was playing around with guys, but now he says he's got to pay the bills. He's a lot more serious. As Cora has him pinned up against the ropes, not where Sims wants to be. Unless he's playing some sort of possum here.
Yeah, Sims didn't read the keys to victory, apparently, because we talked about him being on the ropes. And when Cora crowds him, you can see one guy's throwing a lot more punches than the other on the inside.
Sims popping some punches off the head of Cora, misses with a wild left. Cora looking impressive as he goes to the body and then upstairs.
Why would Sims do this? He boxed well in the first round.
Now it looks like he's doing what he did in the amateurs, Steve, playing around. Just what he said he wouldn't do as a pro. As he's developed.
Yeah, he's fighting off the ropes. He's punching, he's landing good shots, but it's a lack of focus as far as I'm concerned because he should be in ring center.
Here he comes. Solid punches to the head by Sims, but then he backs up again and stays on the ropes. Cora scoring with those uppercuts. Sims getting a few punches in there, but it's a dangerous place to be, even if he is confident.
And this is the pace Cora wants. Throwing a lot of punches and weakening Sims with a body attack.
Cora landing with both the hands. Nice crisp left uppercut on the inside by Cora. Cora scoring points. And finally Sims gets away from the ropes. I'm not exactly sure what he had in mind there. Well, did come through with one successful flurry.
He did. He seems the harder puncher, Steve, but Cora's throwing so many more shots. He's winning the round.
Here we go again, now just above us. Sims pinned up against the ropes. Now he gets away from him. Sims is landing. Cora crowds him again. That comes Sims with harder punches than Cora's.
Those punches come when Sims has room to extend.
Cora coming in with a lot of confidence, having just sparred with people like Holyfield and Reggie Johnson. This, of course, the real thing.
And this is great infighting because you notice they've gone inside almost the whole round. The referee has not been on the scene once. Neither guy wants to hold.
Hard body shots by Sims. Great jab by Sims. A shotgun jab by Sims. Did follow it up with the right.
Get in the other side. Put it in the spot. They want him to get on the other side. Get in the side. Look, how you feeling? Good. Listen.
You can see when these guys are on the inside, it's a huge advantage to Cora. Sims is hooking with his right hand. That's not his big punch. And Cora smartly working the body against the tall guy. He has to do that. Later in the round, and that's one of the reasons you see Cora with a little bit of a shoulder butt. That keeps the bigger guy on the ropes. You gotta not just punch when you're on the inside. You have to move your body so that you can keep the guy on the inside. The shoulder butt will do that for you. As soon as Sims gets to the ring center, you see him extending his arms. That's where his power is.
Well, it's a little puzzling, Steve, as to why he spent a good deal of that second round against the ropes. He is so much more effective in the center of the ring. Again, it's famous Sims in the red, fighting out of a southpaw stance. He's a switch hitter. Fought most of this fight as a left-hander against the southpaw Cora. Beat Cora convincingly 2 times in the amateurs. He said the difference was that he just plain out boxed Cora.
All right, give me a break. Oh,
Nice counter left by Cora.
Sims just missing with a left hand.
Stop punching.
He was trying to end the fight right there, Sims. Now they're where Sims, I would think, would prefer to be. to the chin, partially blocked by Sims.
Sims is going to need to throw that left hand a little bit more to keep Cora off him. Can't do it alone with the jab.
And Sims just missing with a left uppercut. Back comes Cora. Cora's looked pretty good.
He does, and Steve, he looks like the kind of guy who, when he gets hit hardest, that's when he punches hardest in return. Cora better pick up that right hand.
10 of Sims' 12 wins by knockout. Series of punches upstairs by Sims. Less than a minute remaining in round 3, scheduled for 10. Cora with a flurry. And Sims nodding as if to say, good job.
Well, the best thing you can say about Sims' round is he stayed off the ropes.
Right. Been an impressive round for Felix Cora Jr. in the multicolored trunks. White, red with the star. As we head for the bell, round 3, put that one on the books for Felix Cora Jr. Well, fight fans, here's the best way to stay informed about upcoming boxing events on Showtime. Log on to our website at show.com and register to receive email updates. Show.com is your ticket to the best boxing on the web. You'll find all the stats for tonight's fighters, exclusive award-winning fight photography, full action video, and you can take part in the weekly interactive polls. Be sure to click on to Ask the Expert and pose questions directly to Steve Barhood, boxing writer and broadcaster for over 25 years. Get in on the interactive experience and log on to show.com. Once again, that address is sho.com. Sims' trainer Ray Woods, Diego Corrales' stepfather and former trainer.
Steve Cora prepared for this fight by sparring with Evander Holyfield. You can only imagine what kind of help that is for a 10-fight kid like this.
He helped Holyfield get ready for Chris Bird. Great experience, learned a lot just being around a fighter like the real deal, who lost that fight with the elusive southpaw Bird. Unanimous decision back in December. But a great learning experience for Cora, who was in awe of Holyfield at first, but then settled down. And I would imagine that's a huge help when you get into the ring for the real thing.
Well, both of these guys, I think you can see the amateur experience they've had. They're both poised. Neither guy's in a rush. They both counterpunch nicely. They throw straight punches. These are polished young fighters.
All right, don't punch, don't punch.
Well, at this point, I think it's quite clear that Cora has had the upper hand. Sims has mentioned switch hitter fighting lefty, a natural left-hander. Cora, a southpaw. Very aggressive, physically strong. Still developing, going to the body, a nice left hand up to the head. And Sims says, that's all right, bring it on. He's game. Oh, Sims just walked into one.
And all the power punches in this fight have been counter punches. I wonder if either guy has the discipline not to lead as much as they are, because they're both throwing first at times. But the best punches have been counters, and if one guy can have the discipline to just counter punch, he might just win this fight based on that alone.
Steve, in case the folks are wondering, Sims has been down one time in his 12 pro fights. His 5th fight. a rematch with a fighter named Kevin Gilchrist, a southpaw. But Sims came back to stop Gilchrist later in the first. And Cora has never been down as a pro in 10 fights.
Cora very briefly there turned to orthodox. I don't see any point in it.
Yeah, he's doing just as well this way. So why mess it up? Cora, the busier of the two, setting a nice pace. Missing with those deliveries.
Again, Sims with the counter left. He's not landing that left from a 1-2, only from a counter.
Hit bucket. Wow. All right. Hit bucket. Don't blow your nose. Don't blow your nose. Here, hold. Okay, give me the water. Let me breathe. No. Listen, I got a towel. All right. Give me no more rounds. Take it off. You can stop this ball if you hear the combinations. Spin up. Don't try to load up. Just snap them up. Okay? How do you feel? Now, come on, give it to us. Listen, give it to me now. Come on with it. I need for you to come on with it.
Let's go, second down.
Well, Michael Sims has knocked out his last 4 opponents within 4 rounds. Guess what? It's round 5, and Sims has been passed for only once before this. A 10-round win by decision over Reggie Roberts, September of 2001. 10 of Sims' 12 wins by knockout overall. Oh, there's a hard left hand to the side of the head by Sims, maybe his best punch of the night.
Work it out.
Again, a counter.
But it did seem to phase Cora. So that has to perhaps be some concern for Sims. He may be saying to himself now, Steve, hey, this guy's improved.
I'll tell you, definitely the case, he has improved. And this is new ground for these two guys. You know,
nice left hand over the top by Cora, Steve.
both undefeated. And there's Sims on the ropes again. He's in trouble.
Cora applying the pressure. Sims inviting him in. I'm not sure what's going through Sims' mind right here. He's playing around too much, which he said he would not do.
Hey, fatigue could be a factor also. And if Sims gets tired, you're going to see him on the ropes.
Sims really playing with fire here. Cora continues to score even with jabs. Halfway through the 5th. Scheduled for 10. Michael Sims in the red with the black. He beat Cora twice in the amateurs. Olympic trials. Cora in the white with the blue trim.
And these guys are really depending on that amateur pedigree because, believe me, neither one of them has been in anything like this as a pro. They've won their fights very easily. Sims' opponents only 39% winning percentage. Cora's opponents 43%. They're not used to fighting winning fighters, and
Right.
they're both producing here.
And there's a bigger step up in competition from Cora than it is for Sims going into the fight, theoretically. But Cora's winning the fight from this vantage point.
But Sims has landed the bigger shots, so it's going to be very interesting on the cards if it goes that far.
Some terrific exchanges here. It has Sims smiling. Sims enjoying this. Both landing some very, very hard punches here in the 5th round.
Remember, these are cruiserweights. This is a brutal pace for cruiserweights, 190-pound fighters.
And both coming in undefeated. Both toe-to-toe in the center of the ring at the bell.
Give that to him. Give me that snip. Wake up. Give that to him. What the fuck y'all doing? Sit down. to work, man. You're going to have to work. Give me that water.
Okay, you got to take it.
Cora crowding Sims, getting close because Sims isn't giving him a jab to worry about, and then Sims just voluntarily goes to the ropes, puts his arms up. Interestingly, Cora keeps a distance there, but nothing coming back from Sims. You give Cora carte blanche to punch, and he's going to land, and that's what happened this round. Sims just in defensive mode there. That's the kind of action that gives the judges a reason to give Cora the round. These guys, the last minute of the round, they just punched right inside against each other. Heavy shots, big left hands, and head and body.
All right, you guys got to move a little faster over there.
Robots there near the end of round 5. And some dramatics in the corner of Michael Sims from the mouth of trainer Ray Woods. He said, hey, you gotta get to work, pal. And then it took them half the time just to get the stool in so he could sit down. So kind of disorganized there in the Sims corner momentarily. Round 6 scheduled for 10 non-title bout. But good action here in our co-feature with Freitas Ramirez next, the main event. For 2 belts at 130 pounds. The first World Championship fight in the city of Chicago in close to 16 years coming up next. And a terrific crowd of about 4,000 on hand here at the Pavilion on the grounds of the University of Illinois, Chicago. Just about 10-15 minutes from famous Michigan Avenue.
I think these guys are taking a rest, Steve, a little bit.
All of a sudden, yeah, it's the first time there's been a lull. Sims delivering over the top, landed, but not a lot of power, not a lot of pop behind it. That one had more pop. Yeah, the pace not as quick here in round 6.
Sims seems to like this slower pace where he can land a single left hand, just dominate that way. Right now, I think he's landed the 3 best punches of this round, all straight left. As I say that, of course, Cora lands a big right hand.
Of course. Nice left hand by Sims. Now Sims pressing the attack more. Coming forward, he's got Cora on the ropes. And Cora, unlike Sims, quickly gets off. But now he's pushed back. Sims taking more of the initiative now. Heeding his trainer's advice. Tempering Cora's head.
During this infighting, Cora should not neglect punching to the body. If he does it, he's going to have a very tired Sims in front of him the last 2 or 3 rounds.
Halfway through, unofficially, how do you see it right now?
Oh, I had Cora 1 point ahead going into this round, but this is Sims's round as far as I'm concerned because of those big left hands he landed in the first 2 minutes.
So this thing could even up after this round halfway. After the 5th round was halfway. Still to come. As mentioned, our main event, Joselito Freitas versus Juan Carlos Ramirez for the WBA and WBO 130-pound belts. We'll take you into the dressing room with the champion, Joselito Popo Freitas, one of only 3 world champions all time from Brazil, Eder Joffrey and Miguel de Oliveira and the others. For you boxing historians, he's become one of Brazil's most sought-after celebrities, appearing in many commercials. He's up there with soccer star Ronaldo in terms of star status. One of boxing's fine young champions, undergoing a transformation in skills and conditioning the last 18 months. Will he return to his explosive ways tonight? Well, we could have an even fight here. Cora has been past 6 twice in his 10 pro fights. He's 2-0. Round 7, scheduled for 10. 2 unbeaten fighters coming in. And Cora goes right to work. He's got Sims again on the ropes. he's landing. Some of those punches are being blocked, but he's getting through.
He should be punching to the body a lot more than he is.
Sims once again says, come on in. An inviting target, but he doesn't fight back. He doesn't offer anything back. I mean, that would be okay if he countered.
And Sims trying the conventional stance now. Let's see if it makes a difference in how he boxes.
Yeah, he's back to orthodox now after fighting most of the fight southpaw. Cora saying something to Sims, and Sims smiling. That was interesting. So you have this fight even?
Right even after 6, yeah, 57-57 on my card.
4 rounds to go. Cora now goes to the body. Sims able to spin out.
I love this effort from both guys, but especially, whoa, two big right hands.
Sims turning it on. And you may have heard Cora say, I was waiting on that. And Sims acknowledges with a smile. These guys have a running conversation going on. Michael Sims, an admitted Raider fan, but clearly wearing the colors of the Tampa Bay Bucks. Changing allegiance in midstream.
Fatigue setting in clearly, both guys, but only one is punching right now.
Felix Cora. Cora just leaning and unleashing. They're not hard punches, but he's being busy, and he's winning the judges over.
If Cora can stick his head on Sims's shoulder, he basically takes Sims's left hand out of the fight when Sims is squared up. That's the best way to do it. He's not gonna get hurt. He's not gonna take any big shots if he does that.
Sims continues to fight as an orthodox conventional. He missed with that, and he smiles. Straight right hand that's scored by Sims. No knockdowns in the fight. I think Sims just clowning around a little too much here, and it could get him in a rut. Unless he's got something up his sleeve. You hear the crowd reaction. They're not happy.
Hey, it's starting to come on now. Stay right-handed. Stay right-handed. Give me that one. Go to the box. Okay.
8 rounds, baby.
You're starting to pull it out now. Can you keep doing that?
You got 3 rounds.
Things getting a little wild in the middle of the ring. Cora jumping, and as a result, he gets smacked by a counter right hook. Typical southpaws, there's not much hooking going on with these guys, but it seems Sims definitely has the better hook. And this is why Cora has to lead in with his jab. He's totally off balance after missing, and Sims comes in with the big right hook. Sims was able to extend and throw a real long wide shot because Cora was off balance, was in no position to counterpunch.
As we enter into round 8.
You guys are a little too slow over there.
We'll see if these two guys can change the jeers into cheers here in Chicago. 3 more rounds scheduled. A very close affair. We have Cora ahead just slightly.
By 1 point. I get the impression, Steve, last 3 rounds, maybe even the last 2 rounds, it's just going to be which guy can move his hands more, because they're both going to be very tired. How could they not be? I mean, they just haven't fought at this level up to this point as professionals.
Yeah, it's the first 10-rounder for Cora. A little slippery as Sims looked down. Sims really has to get it going here. He said in his corner they liked what he did in the last round. He's starting to come on. See if he can continue.
When Sims is buying time the way he is now by jabbing and moving, it's up to Cora to really pressure him. If Cora pressures him, he will get Sims on the ropes again. But he can't take his time and rest.
Sims in the red with the black trim really has to get down to business. And again, the fans with the booing. The straight left hand to the jaw by Cora. And no counterattack by Sims. Sims missing. Cora came up short. He's got to get in closer.
Sims not really using the usual weapon against a southpaw, which is a lead right hand. He's trying to jab his way in.
And Steve, he told us yesterday that his stronger hand is his left, not his right. As again, you hear the fan reaction. There was terrific action earlier on. Cora landing there with the left hand and opening up.
Make no mistake, that's Sims holding right there.
Little loose tape. Deep breath.
Bring it back.
Hands up, Felix.
Bring it back up. This way. Okay, bring it back.
Relax, baby. Have fun with that.
We approach 20 seconds remaining in the eighth. Both guys clearly tired after a lot of earlier action.
Yeah, this isn't Cora's fight. He has to pressure and be on top of Sims.
That's what he's trying to do here. And the bell. Sims showing Cora too much respect. A lot of tapping.
All right. You're the man. You're doing real good there. Yeah.
Don't ever let me give them
All right, don't give it up. Don't give it up. Relax.
You're the man.
Relax. Yeah. Now, you keep those hands in. You walk them down now.
Yeah, no
Okay?
doubt.
All right. Here, drink this.
Don't let him rest. He's trying to rest. He'll make you
You know, we got the reach.
Yeah, okay.
My hand is on the inside.
Sims finding himself in the corner again, hands down. As Cora lands that long left hand, and who's the guy throwing most of the punches right there? It's Felix Cora. In an otherwise close round, that affects the judges. Straight left at the end of the round, that definitely leaves an impression with the judges. That was a close round, but Cora might have pulled it out with that left hand at the very end.
And that's the action just before the bell.
Okay.
Now there's the bell to signal round 9.
All right.
Scheduled for 10. So what do you have? Cora up now by 2. You have Cora up by 2 now.
Work it out.
Again, I'm just not sure what Sims is thinking right here. This is certainly not the Michael Sims who dominated Felix Cora Jr. 4 years ago twice. In the amateurs, different story here in the pros. Of course, this one's still far from over because Sims has a knockout punch. And a good punch there by Sims upstairs. Another wicked right hand, but that more of a grazing shot.
This fight there to be won, Steve. I have it dead even after 8 rounds.
You do? Okay. I thought maybe you'd give Cora that last round, but you went the other way.
Despite that Cora left hand toward the end.
Be interesting to see how the judges see it. 3 local Illinois judges. Sims, left hand there, but again, a glancing blow.
Sims still the harder puncher for individual shots. And that's what makes this fight so interesting to score, because Cora's been the busier guy pretty much all the way. Very little on Cora's punches at this point on the inside.
But Cora, the busier. Definitely Sims's punches with more impact.
And I place a lot of importance on that. That's what separates amateur from pro scoring.
So it may not be the volume of punches by Sims tonight, but the weight of the punches, the power, that could give him a victory. And again, the crowd to booing.
Breathe deep. Look up. Breathe deep. Breathe deep, baby. This round.
Inside the ropes with Steve Farhead. Let's dissect this thing a little more.
Felix has done his best work when in close. It totally negates Sims's reach advantage, also negates Sims's power advantage. Mixing his shots early in the fight, Cora punched to the body a lot more against the square target when he was on the inside. Later in the fight, he had it. But there, Sims answering back with bigger shots. That's the judge's dilemma.
Come on, get that run out. Could it be Cora's revenge? Felix Cora on the right, Michael Sims on the left. They touch gloves, and here we go. What do you say going into 10?
I gave Sims that 9th round. I have him ahead by a point.
You do?
You disagree?
Well, I'm not scoring it, so, but I just from a feel that Cora is ahead, but we'll have to wait and see if this thing goes the distance. But Sims certainly has more power than Cora and is more capable of Cora of ending this fight on a knockout.
Yeah, both guys have shown excellent chins, especially Cora, because Sims is the bigger puncher.
It's a heck of a body shot by Cora just a second ago, right on the borderline. Tenth and final round. This round could decide the fight. Sims thinks he has it in the bag. You hear the crowd again, their reaction, they're not happy. Cora now pressing. Sims is trying to end it here on one. Just flinging, wailing. Cora coming back, has him up against the ropes.
This round has been a microcosm of the fight. There's been a little bit of Sims moving, a little bit of infighting. Cora busier, Sims throwing the harder punches. It's been this way for all 10 rounds.
And as you said in your keys to victory, Sims had to stay off the ropes, and he spent a good portion of this fight on the ropes, which has to be a disadvantage. Cora taking advantage of the opportunity. And here we go again. It's just inexplicable.
Well, Sims's legs are gone. He can't dance anymore.
Yeah, he's lost his power, and Cora continues to be the busier of the two. And I think this fight can go either way. I'm just going to say Cora. It could be a draw. But nobody wants to see that. They're going at it just before the bell. And that's it.
hell of an effort by both guys, given what they had done as pros up to this point.
Both raising their arms in triumph. Is it Cora? Is it Sims? Is it even? We'll soon find out. Could be interesting. Two guys who met 2 times in the amateurs. Both fights won by wide margins on points by that guy who was kneeling, Michael Sims. And a very concerned look on the face of Cora.
We need to stay busy, man. Let's take one day at a time. All right?
Still not sure. All right?
You know I got to leave. Let me get a picture of you guys. Turn around for a minute. Turn around, guys. You know I got to leave, man.
You guys posing.
Yeah, let's do another one. Hell of a fight, guys. Good fight. Hell of a fight. 1, 2, 3. That was a wonderful, ain't nothing different, you know. It was the same way, and there you go. Hey, guys, you did a good job. Yeah, thanks.
It's obvious, Steve, two guys who really, really like each other.
They know each other well. They know each other a lot better now.
Two competitors.
They had no idea they were going to get this kind of fight. You know what? That's right. We come to fight. Both sides did. Both sides.
You'd think style-wise, Cora would have the advantage as a professional. He's a very relaxed fighter in there. Going 10 is not. Doesn't seem to be very hard for him. And he wants to make him an inside fight. You can build by punching to the body, tiring your man out over 10 rounds, but you can't do that over 4 rounds. But Sims was surprisingly, his stamina was pretty good for a guy who had done 10 only once and fighting against a guy like Cora who set a pretty fast pace. But you'd think as pros, Cora would have the advantage. I think this fight was just about dead even. I don't think there was any advantage for either guy. It just went back and forth.
Yeah, you can make a pretty good case for an even fight or a draw. So we wait for the announcement by Jimmy Lennon Jr. Jimmy is set. He's got the scorecards in his hand. He's just making sure it's right because it's so close. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. We have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Ted Gimza scores about 96 to 94 in favor of Michael Sims. Judge at ringside, Jerome Jim Cubco scores about 96 to 94 in favor of Felix Cora. And judge at ringside, Mike Gliana, sees about 95, even a draw. The decision is even a draw.
So a split decision draw, if you will.
That's all right.
Well, here Cora saying that's all right. Well, he didn't lose to Sims again, and both of them get a blemish.
Well, you know, both of them look incredulous. That means the decision was probably the right one, right?
Yeah, one guy had a 96-94 Sims, 96-94 Cora for another, then 95 even. Beer Amusement Park on a beautiful day in Chicago, temperature reaching nearly 60, standing by for the first world title fight of the Windy City in over 15 years. Freitas versus Ramirez for a pair of 130-pound belts. And right now, we're set for post-fight reaction from our opening bout. Here's Jim Gray. Jim.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Felix, Michael both join us. Michael, first, your thoughts on this draw. Did you believe you won the fight?
I can't say I really felt that I won 110% for sure. I know it was close. I felt that I came back going pretty strong the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th round. And I started getting it going. I turned more back to orthodox conventional. Jab was getting in more. He was throwing real good to the body. And I don't know. The draw was the last thing I thought would happen.
Why did you stay on the rope so much, and how much has he changed, Felix, as a fighter, since you won those 2 amateur fights?
When I seen him at the weigh-ins, we talked about what's different, what's new, and he was leaning over at the table. And when he stood up, we talked about everything was still the same old, same old. And I realized first thing right away, he told him what he was the first 2 times we fought. So,
Would you like a rematch?
I'd love to. I mean, that's something I think a lot of people like to see. Is boxing, is banging inside. I mean, it's a little bit of everything in there. And I'd love definitely do it again.
Michael, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Felix, let's
All
turn
right,
to you
Mike,
here.
No doubt.
Did you think you won this fight, or did you feel as though this was pretty close in a draw?
Yeah, I thought I pulled it off. To be honest with you, I thought I was the most aggressive. He threw some shots in there that were some nice shots. You know, I thought I did enough to get away with the fight by being aggressive, throwing more shots, working the body, and hey, I understand it happens sometime. You know, I didn't expect it to be a draw, but unfortunately, I look forward to coming back and doing it again. And I commend Michael Sims for giving me the opportunity to do it here on Showtime. And I just look forward to doing it again in the near future. So hopefully.
Did you learn a lot fighting against Michael in the amateurs? And in addition to that, how much did sparring with Evander Holyfield help you?
Well, sparring with Holyfield, to be honest with you, is better than getting paid, because he showed me with the experiences he has how to relax in the ring, how to be more of a professional. And he really helped me out with this fight. I tried to use some of his tactics. Unfortunately, my man over here, I've known him since he was an amateur. I knew that he'd try to counteract what I do, and I look forward to doing it again.
All right, Felix, thank you. Congratulations on that draw.
No doubt.
Okay. Steve, a lot of respect up here in the ring. Back down to you.
No doubt. Thank you very much, Jim. Let's see how the scoring went for Sims versus Cora. The third time around, first is pros.